Welcome to Sorare FP. I'm not sure what we're calling this one. Friday, probably. Sorare first mid playoffs. I'm not sure, but all right. I'm Kevin, Clamp1 on Discord and Sorare, Lista3 on Twitter. I'm joined today by DJLocal. If you want to introduce yourself.
DJLocal, Kyle. DJLocal most just about everywhere in some form or another.
Nice. I wish I'd remembered, and I never do, to ask if you use your name or not. I know some folks that like come to this from the crypto side are like, no, I'd rather not share my name. But
you can dig and find it if you really wanted to. So
I know, yeah. And if they do, hopefully they will also find our magical new merch page.
There we go.
So I've been messing around with this. I kind of want to see what they look like before we start doing anything with them. But we finally did our Please Fix Tears Thanks merch, which is going to be blue hoodies. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting those. It sounds like it's about a 2-week process from when we run it until they get out. So we should be getting the first batch of shirts out shortly. And yeah, so the plan for this is we're gonna start doing annual memberships for Sorare FP starting in November. And so for $100, you'll get the annual membership and a shirt. I guess if there's a lot of demand for sweatshirts, maybe we can do a sweatshirt tier as well. But we're going to do that. I think the other thing, I haven't finalized the details yet, but the other thing we're going to probably do is what I'm going to call the FP Invitational. Do a few NFBC 50-round draft and holds starting in January. And so if you want to do that, I think there'll be an option for members to include that in their membership. I'm just waiting to hear back from NFBC to see if there's any other details we need to figure out, but it sounds like it should be good to go for, I think it'd be $50 a person. I think I did one through the Palazzo podcast. They did something similar last year. I was like, this is a great way to like start doing it. Have you done any NFBC at all, Kyle?
I haven't. I've just always hear it talked about and stuff, and just like I don't know. It's a lot of research.
It is. Yeah. No. So I've been, yeah, to be ready by January. I'm already starting trying to make rankings. Their first two, I think, DC drafts have finished. So there's two drafts worth of ADP data out there, which it'll be interesting to see how that changes as it goes. But yeah, no, I mean, at this point, the biggest thing is figuring out playing time. And right now, probably half the league, we know kind of what their playing time is going to be, but the other half, it takes a while to figure that out. But I think January and February is when I started doing mine last year. And it was good. You can, at that point, the ADP is pretty settled and you can kind of do it from just the last couple of weeks or whatever. So you can see what people are doing recently as more and more news comes out, as elbows explode and all of that. All the free agents start signing. Hopefully they sign this winter.
Yeah, just 50 rounds. You're all right. You got to sit there, prepare, man. What if I lose my first basemen or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's tough. It's structure. So what I found was you need like 3 guys that can play at every position. And so with NFBC, it's 2 catchers, and then first, second, short, third, 1 middle infield spot, 1 corner infield spot. I think 4 outfielders and 2 utility spots. And the pitchers is just 9 pitchers, and you can spread them out however you want. And I think that's the biggest one where there's just so many questions going into next year, right? Like so I started kind of making my rankings because to prepare for it. And so they do slow drafts where it's like 4 hours between each pick. And there's 15 teams. So that goes a while. Even if people make their picks fairly quickly, you've got at least some time to start researching the people kind of in the next chunk of ADP at least and figure out what.
No, you aren't rushed into a pick you don't want.
Right. Yeah. But honestly, that was the best preparation for me last year. Like I got overwhelmed. I was like, I'm just going to have to, I'll get the first 10 or 15 rounds of guys, the first 150, 200 ranked. And then from there, just start figuring it out, like who's going to be available. But yeah, so I'll be putting tiers together for that, to at least share that with folks that haven't done it before, to kind of see that there are, a fair amount of differences between kind of valuing people for that versus valuing them for so rare. But yeah, it's a lot of prep to get 50 rounds times 15 teams is that's a fair amount of players to be going that deep. But it's,
that's pretty deep into. I mean, you're reaching into the double A, maybe single A guys at some points.
Yeah, not that low. I mean, so last year.
Well, I mean, the ones that have the upside though.
Oh yeah. So last year, like guys like Tink Hence would go, in the late rounds. The Brewers pitchers, Gasser and Mizorowski, Cade Povich and Chase McDermott. Who else? Spencer Arrighetti was one, and that one panned out. With bats, guys like Lawrence Butler, James Wood, like I had them on a bunch of teams just because I was like, I think they get called up, and if they do, it's at least half a season of pretty good stats, which is good. But yeah, now it's figuring out who that's going to be next year and all of that is
right.
Fun.
Yeah, their path to playing time.
Yeah. So I know we talked about Roman Anthony at the Futures game. Do you know if he's got a path to playing time next year?
Man, I've heard some rumors on Boston that they might shake some things up. Like I don't know if that was just a rumor started by somebody and it swirled, or if that was actually from the beat reporter. I don't remember, but there was, I don't even know if there was talk of even trading Duran and moving because they got Rafaela that can play center and short. They have an abundance of different fielders, and they talk about moving Devers to first, move Yoshida.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like they have. I don't know if they don't have a plan. So it's kind of I guess whoever they can get value from back,
right,
find a way to turn some of that into some sort of, I don't know, mid-level pitcher that can eat some innings for them.
Right. Yeah.
But between him and then they got Kyle Teal and that catcher there. So there's quite a bit of unknown with them, depending on what they end up doing.
Connor Wong.
And then Marcelo Mayer too. Yeah.
Connor Wong's going to be there. David Fry is going to play all over the field probably.
Right. Yeah. How does and then I mean also just being in Boston, you want to be able to have that guy in right field that can cover ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of you need to have a team that's fit for that stadium.
Yeah. Yeah. How is Abreu as a defender?
He was good. He was good. He was making some plays other guys won't. They liked him out because he did play right a lot. And he would get to those balls slicing right there towards the pole that I don't think everybody would get to.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, Rome. Yeah, so I just remember when we saw him in the home run derby or whatever it was, the skills competition.
Yeah. The part that turned into a home run derby. Yeah.
Yeah. He was the only one that looked like he had like legit like major league power, where he was just crushing balls into the right field stands. Everyone else would look like it was a lot more. I don't know. His seemed easier. It looked like easier power to me.
Yeah. It definitely played up.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else was I supposed to do today? I don't think. Oh, the other one was. Did you see the Athletic article about Sorare?
I did not. I was running around.
So I know this has been kind of ongoing, and this hopefully isn't really a issue for us. Athletic. There we go. Yeah. So in the UK, I know they've been. So I think this is for, I guess, regulatory dorks, but so I think they'd worked out different things with different EU countries, but UK, I don't think they'd worked out, an agreed to kind of regulatory scheme. And so the UK government is saying that it's like unregistered gambling. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I would guess that they do resolve that, like most cases resolve, at some point before it actually goes to trial. But
somebody gets some money and everything's happy.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Can't imagine that that's much of an issue for the US, but
right, yeah, because just being how the EU versus UK and stuff like that, the way they're one will do one thing and one will do the other.
Yeah.
But I mean, with gambling being so commonplace over there, I don't see it being that big of a deal. They just I don't know, maybe they have to pay to be licensed or something.
Yeah, it'll probably be something like that.
Or just
I will say that's the one thing I worry about living in. I guess there's a number of things I worry about living in Idaho. It's an interesting place, but just that the legislature will stop letting us do. So I mean, obviously I can do Sorare, but NFBC, I don't think I could do that where I've been living before. And so, yeah, like I can't do underdog here, which sucks. I don't know. Do you do any like best ball drafts or anything?
Yeah. No, I did. I usually do a little bit of football. I'll do more baseball. I didn't get to basketball this year because baseball just took up so much time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like a best ball's a good way to have like a little taste of action for each season.
Yeah,
it gives you guys to root for and check up on.
Right. All right. Let's see. All right, so let's check the Chase out. Man, I am sweating every single day with this. It hasn't been totally wire to wire, but I think this one has been the champ one. And I no longer have a commanding lead. I'm within like 25 points of the guys behind me. Crapshoot. I'm not sure if I know Glitchy, but Hagel's down in 5th. Prince. Dewey's in 11th. Yeah. How's the chase been going for you? You're doing limited and rare, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, I'm doing limited and rare, and then I submit for super rare, but it doesn't look like it's gonna, unless Kike keeps going off, and maybe I have a shot. But
yeah, I mean he's got glasses now, so
right, not yeah. Man, if I had probably grabbed a pitcher for super rare, I might have been able to compete just with Arizona not making it, and then the Astros not making it. And then the Royals I just didn't have many paths in super rare besides those few teams that I had a stockpile on of my Astros and some of the other guys. Yeah, I started off slow, just with hoping the Astros would do well, and that was some of my lowest scoring weeks there at the beginning while they were in it. So, I'm gaining now. Got up to, was it rare was what, 20 something? Oh, okay. Rare Pro, I'm 12th.
Nice.
And Rare Champion, I was in 20th, but I've only scored 24 points so far this week. So,
ouch.
So we'll see. I mean, the Mets, besides Lindor, haven't done much, and I didn't play Vientos. So
yeah, man, it's been an interesting one. I didn't play Mookie, and I should have. We played Teoscar instead. I did have Vientos in my champ lineup, so that was a good one. But no Stanton. Stanton was one of the ones I was thinking about. Yeah.
I got Stanton, Judge, and Mookie in my Rare Pro. So that's in 22nd for the week. So that would
nice.
And then still got Rodon to go. So that one's good for the week. But and then if you don't have Shohei and Mookie this week for limited, there's not much of a chance.
Yeah. Yep. It's so. What do you think happens from here on out? I feel like from day to day, the vibe has changed immensely. With like the Yankees are going to sweep. Well, and then maybe this is the magical comeback from Cleveland, and Mets look like they were storming back, and now their offense sucks again.
I don't think Cleveland has enough.
Yeah.
Like it has to take something this magical for them to get to where they are. Like there's I don't think they're going to have to win one game 6-2 to be able to rest some arms.
Yeah.
That's at least that's how I can't just keep throwing that stud bullpen lineup out every day, and I mean eventually it's going to crack. And I mean obviously Class A's hasn't been as sharp, but I mean Class A's been so sharp for so long. Like it's one of those things of, oh man, he messed up in the playoffs. Well, he had to mess up at some point. Like, I mean, I guess you'd hoped it happened in the season versus in the playoffs, but it was going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're going against the best of the best.
Yeah. No, this year's been really interesting to see how much like bullpen strategy and usage has been important. Both like more and more teams using like bullpen days, but also like I mean, like we saw Kimbrel, like which he does every year, but like explode, and it was probably because he got overworked.
Yeah.
And the Class A seems to do worse. When he's pitching that much, and he of anyone has been able to to kind of do it. But I know, so yeah. So what do you think? I know. Have you seen much about like the kind of decay of effectiveness of relievers? If you see them, kind of the more you see them.
I think some of that's true, but I'm not. There's some relievers though that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think it's just more they're seeing them more. Not say they're seeing them more and they're reading them better, but also there's just when you have more people going one inning, 2 inning, 1 inning, 2 inning, it just feels like there's a more chance. I think I have one guy go 3 innings. The chance if he's good and he's on, I don't know, like doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't like he's either going to walk a guy or he's not going to leave a meatball up there that's going to hang. And I think that's I guess you could look back and see, but how many of these home runs were on not necessarily a bad pitch, but not their best pitch.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. I mean, I think Class A's were both ball like breaking balls that kind of hung up in the zone.
Yeah, they got hung, right. So it's not like they beat him on a fastball and they hammered it out.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the strategy will change, and then they're like, okay, cool, all right, well, we know he's throwing a fastball. I'm going to try my best to beat him to the spot and get it out of there.
Yeah, it's been great matchup. I really like. I think the playoffs have been great. Like it's fun watching the strategy and the figuring out when you can kind of empty your bullpen out and when you might need to save them.
Or then like what they sent Kopech in early to face Lindor the other night, and I was like, oh, okay, at least he got the save out of it because or no, he got the win. He got the win because he finished the 5th inning.
Right.
So that was a good little surprise, and that was the other fun thing this week of trying to figure out if you had like Weaver and Kopech and previous years of trying to figure out how to use them, but being though that you could only do one in the champion of a previous year, kind of limited you on what your process was of being able to strategize on those ones.
Yeah. Yeah, for my champion, I got Flaherty to go still, and then I went Diaz and Kopech. In part that, it's just limited by the in-season cards I had. But the pro, I think I did all 3 relievers. I think I had a Kopech as a starter, and then Weaver and Diaz. We'll see how bad or good of a decision that was because Weaver finally got touched too. See how he bounces back, right?
Yep.
Nice. All right, so what do we have for the rest of the way? It's my geriatric bird who saying hi. Hey, Willie. Dodgers Mets is starting.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
Um,
Ohtani with a single, Betts with a double,
oh, no kidding. That's amazing.
and Lindor with a single.
Nice. All right. Well, if you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to. If you want to go and watch the game, feel free. I'm gonna go through my NBA commons right now and see what else I can do with them. I just kind of started figuring that out. But
Sounds good.
yeah.
Yep. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Or do you want to stay on?
I'm gonna watch the game, get some other stuff done. So
Gotcha. Rock on.
Later.
Yep. All right. So, if you're only here for MLB content, go watch the game. And I've been working on some like explainer stuff for NBA, and just started to figure out how that works. So, if you wanna, I've been calling this "Get Ready with Me." So I'm gonna get my makeup brushes out. Probably. I apologize if I look a little grislier than normal. I've got a tennis tournament this weekend, and I like to look as much like Santa Claus as possible to kind of get at least a few free games of people kind of underestimating the level of athleticism they're going to see from Santa Claus. So yeah, it'll be a good time. But until then, NBA starts next week. I am super excited for this. I was talking to DJLocal about this beforehand. I mean, he isn't much of a NBA player, but he was saying, he's gonna play as much as necessary to get a feel for it, to kind of see, how things might play out in MLB. And so that's, I think, you're fine, Willie. I think that's, are you serious? Yeah, there it is. All right. I apologize. Please ignore the bird. So what I wanted to do was start looking at how the common game is going to work, because it would be interesting if they do this next year, or like make some tweaks similar to this. But I think the way it's set up this year and there's been a ton of iterations of like how common works, I think, in NBA, but I kind of like where they've ended up for this season, where you pick your MVP. I think they randomly give you a group of cards, but then you can trade kind of like you could mix and match in MLB last year, where, their last whatever average was the basis for like how much you're paying for them. So you get these weird situations where like a rookie or like Yamamoto or Imanaga, where, zero or the lowest possible. So for NBA, it looks like the zeros are going to cost you 10 to trade in, but I think there's still a ton of value there for doing that. And so that's what I had started to play with. But yeah, the next step is going to be what happens in season, because if it's like MLB, it'll switch from being valued based on their L10 or whatever they're using to based on their like value, like how much people are paying for them on the limited market. And so that's going to, I think, push those rookies that are for sure going to get playing time. Guys like Eddie and I think Reed Shepard's probably a good one. I just won a Dillingham, and it sounds like he might be getting minutes as well. But if it's not even based on their L10, if it's just their price, I think there'll be probably some pretty good trades you can make. So that's what I wanted to look at. And let's see if I can find where it is. All right, Common Market is here, and so I went through, I think on Friday, and started my team. Like I said, most of that was just randomly selected. So the thing that I hate thus far about the NBA is when you bring this up, it starts you on ads. So I look at it and I think that it's my roster. So I'm like, did I really end up with, how did I do that? But I don't have all of those guys. I do have some studs. Let's see. Got Wemby. And then I traded in like Jamal Murray, really anyone that, had any kind of sort of high L10. And so I got Luka. I think there was one more. Maybe not. But Strother was one. I think I ended up with him. But I also just bought another one because I think he's going to be a guy. Again, no matter how they do the value, I think he's going to be someone that is going to be worth more than the 10 I paid for him. And then Eddie is the same. I think Lonzo Ball, if he's playing, will be another one. Dillingham, Eddie. So I got a couple Eddies. Reed Shepherd. Yeah, so I didn't realize. So I've got 2 Eddies and 2 Strothers. I think I was actually, what was I looking at getting? But that's how I've started putting this together. And so I don't know if that makes sense. I haven't really checked. If anyone's in the chat and has messed around with this at all, let me know. Let me know if there's just any, meta kind of type stuff you've seen with this, but that's where it's at. It looks like you'll be able to do daily game with these and like the kind of normal kind of common game. It looked like when I was trying to mess around with daily, it looks like they only have the common ready for setup, but I believe there's going to be like all scarcities for that. But I know one of the questions going into the year is going to be like, how do you allocate your players? Should you prioritize the pro game or hold for the daily game? And honestly, I'm not sure how that's going to play out. Looking at the prize pools, it looked like you can win a star common from the daily game, which, kind of as there's more and more prizes. And I would imagine with NBA, it'll be similar to MLB where for the most part, it's just going to be cards for prizes and probably not, probably top 3 spots or something like that it might not even be a star. It might be a T1, but get some decent cards at least. But I think interspersed in there'll probably be some contests with cash like we've seen with, I think at least this Chase. I think maybe there's money in MLB for common. So I think at least in some spots. So maybe that's the in-season tournament. Maybe that's, maybe they introduce chases as well. Maybe there'll be some daily ones. I mean, the Christmas or MLK would be kind of fun. Like the big kind of NBA holidays. Maybe do something extra for that. So looking forward to seeing what they do with that. The one thing I wanted to note, and especially for folks that aren't in the Discord, I think we've talked about it the most in there, but I've tried to mention this. Previously, FP has done NBA projections, submitting lineups through the app like you can with MLB. We're not going to be doing that this year. With the changes to the API that Sorare made, it's basically building a brand new app, which Captain No Sweat did with MLB to keep it running this summer. I'm still kind of shocked that he was able to keep it up pretty much the entire time. But so we won't be doing NBA. We will be. I'm going to have Nate from Sorare Edge come on. I know he's been doing some videos. He's got a Patreon as well, where he kind of gets that sort of, value guys, all of that sort of info, like who to look at for, low L10s and, who might pop. So We're going to have him on. I think we're going to start next week, but doing a little bit of NBA content, mostly because I'm going to be playing. And I think it'll be fun. And like DJLocal had said, it's something like what they're doing with NBA will probably come to, will probably be coming to MLB. So it'll be good to see. Beyond that, we're starting to sketch out what the winter is going to look like. And part of this is going to be kind of depend on, time and all of that. But the plan is to start doing team previews, maybe as early as November, but for sure December, doing a couple of them a week, videos that we'll put out. Probably similar, like I said, with what Sorare Edge is doing. Probably put those out to our subscribers first, and that way they get a little bit of an edge if they decide they want to take a look at players from the teams we're previewing. So just before the cheapest ones get bought up. But yeah, I think that's going to be the plan with that. If anyone has a particular interest in a team and wants to come on to talk, like I said, we'll be doing at least a segment, at least a half hour on every team's hitters and pitchers that are relevant for Sorare. So, see if we can get maybe Taylor on to talk Rockies, things like that. I know Bob has dibs on the A's. Probably have Kyle come on and do the Astros, but yeah, that'll be the plan. The other thing, I think I forgot to mention, especially if you're not watching this live or listening to it live, you could comment with NFBC if you're interested in doing NFBC League. We're going to raffle some of those off as well. So yeah, once the live is over, if on YouTube or Twitter, if you want to comment NFBC, I will add those to the drawing for the FP Invitational inaugural season. See what we can do with that. But all right, I'm going to finish off with NBA stuff. Take a look at the guys that I have been messing around with, where I've been calling it just squandering my MLB profits. But I have started taking money out, at least, just because I'm going to feel like an idiot if I win. I think the last champ I won in rare was like $1,500. I think I won super rare champ at least once, and to not at least pull some money out, I'm going to feel like an idiot. So I've been doing that, but I've also just been tossing my money into soccer players that I rarely use because that's always my last priority. And then messing around with NBA. So this is what I'm thinking in terms of, playing limited or rare. If you're moving up to super, I know in MLB, I've kind of looked at it this way, but if you're operating on a budget and you can't just kind of do the orange fly method of, just take $1,000 and buy every card that you want, and then play. Yeah, so I think if you're going to play champion in NBA, you need one of the studs. It's going to be really hard to win without them. And so I think you need to take that into account. So from there, what I did last year was I picked 2 or 3 teams to build collections of. I think Sorare, is encouraging us to do the collections. So there'll be some, bonuses, whether it's raffle. I mean, I won a free game to the All-Star game for baseball because I had just a ton of entries from collections for MLB. So I don't think everyone's going to be able to do that, but I think it's clear that they're going to be putting at least some effort into rewarding people for having collections. So I think that's a smart thing to do. I also think because NBA more than MLB, you're looking at more often the same players getting used. and being in winning lineups. And so, if it's the game week where, Luka puts up like a 50-point triple double or something like that, and scores, I don't know, probably 120, the XP bonus is going to matter for that. And so I think if you're playing champion, or if you're playing in season, I'm losing track of all of the names they call these games now. But if you're playing the in season ones with the cash prizes, I think doing that bob fly method probably is not the worst idea of just buying. Like I said, I picked the Bucks. I grew up in Milwaukee. I'm a Bucks fan. So I wanted to have Giannis and the Bucks, and then a Mavs collection to have Luka, and a Suns collection to go with Devin Booker, who's like my season-long dynasty team, and I like. But especially, and I think Milwaukee can be this way as well. I'm sure to some degree, all teams can work this way. But when you've got a full team collection, you've got at least a couple of the bench guys that are eventually going to go from, barely in the rotation to, 20 minutes a night, whether someone's hurt or, resting on a back-to-back, all that stuff. So, the Suns had guys all season long that would kind of pop out of nowhere. Mavs have guys like Dante Exum, and I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Bucks with, Doc not necessarily trusting young guys, but if they're going to compete, they need to get at least a couple of their young guys, into the rotation. So I think that's probably the best way to approach this. And I think that's whether you're doing it for in-season or classic. So I started as you can see, I've got some Pacers. So I'm going to do a Pacers collection. And so I just started getting the guys that are a couple dollars, especially the rookies, guys that I don't even know if they're going to end up on the actual NBA roster or not, or if they're going to be in the G League. But there's a handful of rookies, and pretty cheap, but they're collection bonus wise, they're going to grow there. But other than that, my plan for the season is just playing limited and then maybe dabbling in rare. Just buying some, like $10 or $20 rares that might get spikes in minutes, and just guys that I think if the role is there, they'll produce. I think Harrison Barnes, which I keep getting confused about where he went. I think it was the Spurs, but I think he'll probably have a role, especially with injuries and all of that. I'm guessing at least at some points during the season he'll be playable. Saric. So this is an interesting one. And I'm probably especially aware of Saric now. Haven't been on Twitter long enough to see the Saric girl, who's like adorable, but I think he makes perfect sense as a Jokic like backup, like filling his role on offense. I think he can kind of operate from different spots on the court, and kind of run the offense through him. I think he can have a similar skill set to Jokic in some ways. I mean, he's obviously not Jokic, but he's got at least enough parts of that, I think, where if Jokic goes down, like they can continue running their same offense without too many changes. He's a smart player. So I think that'll be an interesting one. And like, I've just been kind of collecting the $1 and $2 and $3 players that like Neesmith, I like, Taylor Hendricks, Wendell Carter will probably get regular minutes. Trey Mann, he's one that I had a ton of him last year, and then with the trade he finally spiked in value. But he's always been one that it looks like once he got an opportunity, he'd be able to put up decent scores. Brook Lopez is old, but because of that, I think he'll have some bad games, some down games where, he's just not part of the offense. But that also means, if there's games where it's clear he's going to get a lot of minutes, maybe Giannis and Portis are out or something like that. And, a team that gives up a lot of threes, especially to bigs, it's something where, he can easily put up a big score from a low L10. I just like PJ Washington. If anyone has a PJ Washington on the Mavericks, let me know, because I do need one of those. There just aren't that many. Jalen Smith, I've always kind of liked him, not just because of the glasses, but he should be getting more minutes. Like I said before, I'm going to have Nate on from Sorare Edge, and I was just watching his last video, and I was happy to see that he had picked some of the guys that I'd started focusing on, so like Jalen Smith. I think Saric, although I think he was just thinking like Saric would I'm not sure what he was thinking their role would be, but like I said, I think it seems like he fills in well for Jokic in that way. But who else? Strother's one who it looks like he's probably going to get be a part of Denver's rotation, and he's at a 2 right now. Buddy Hield, I would imagine. I haven't watched any of the Warriors preseason games. I'm not sure kind of how they've been working him in, but like shooter like him with Steph Curry is, it'll be fun watching them stretch the floor. Him kind of playing a little bit of a Klay Thompson role. I've got to think that there's going to be at least some weeks where he does well. All of my comments. What else do we have going on here? Is it broken? Nope. I apparently bought all of the. Is that right? All of the Romeo Langfords. Yeah, that's one where I don't know. I guess maybe he's 50 cents. Might get a roll at some point. Culver's same way. RJ Hampton's a handful. Moses Moody and Kuminga, it seems like, will at least sporadically have value this season. I don't think he's playing in North America. Hartenstein's hurt. Hooray! Okongwu, I wish I knew what was going to happen in Atlanta. I hope it's not a mess again. I think they can have a fun team, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like every year it seems like it's like, well, Clint Capella is probably ready to start declining or just like get traded, but he just keeps on kicking there. Drummond, I think that one's kind of been identified as like when he fills in for Embiid, he's going to have spikes. That'll certainly help. I'm guessing Naz Reid's role is going to be bigger this year. I'm apparently gambling that Biyombo is going to sign with someone. Jaren Jackson Jr. I really like. I'm not sure how it's going to go with Ja and all of that, but I don't know. I like his skill set, especially for Sorare. I think threes and blocks, can come in bunches, which is fun. But I don't know how much he'll be, kind of a lob threat as well with Ja. But I think it'll be fun to watch. Kenrich Williams, you can't go wrong with Kenrich Williams. All right, I'm going to finish this up. See if I haven't been watching the game at all, which I need to do. But let's see where we're at. 3-1 Mets. Ooh, got ourselves a series. Wild pitch. Alonso home run. Oh, that's huge. Rock on. All right, let's check. Let's do one last check of my now like hourly sweat. Let's see where we're at. Oh, I didn't go with Alonso in my champ lineup, but still on top. Hey Eagle is 2 points behind me. That's great. Let's see how Pro is doing. 9-12. I was going to say Alonso's in there. Alonso and Mookie. Got Doc in 8th. I don't know. So this is the only time I use the desktop. I'm usually doing this on my phone. I get my kids swim lessons or gymnastics. And for whatever reason, John, if you're watching or listening, on mobile, the pro leaderboard doesn't show up the same way like this, like it does for the champ. You have to like turn your phone sideways and get it into landscape mode to do that. But yeah, holy mother of points. I've got like 100-point lead in pro. So hopefully I can hang on there, which is, I think, more for bragging rights than whatever card it is isn't going to be as much as the $8,500 for champion. So hey Eagle, good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I think depending on how these series go, I either have a very good chance or almost no chance at all. I mean, I don't have Soto or Judge, and I'm probably not going to buy them just to stay in first. I don't know if that's the best economical decision. Paying probably $1,500 at least for the both of them. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think it'll be fun if the Guardians make it. But yeah, I'm going to go listen to the game. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm going to put up one last time. What else do we have? Merch. We have merch. Who wants to see the merch? Ooh, can I do that one? I bet I can. Yeah, again, if you want to get one of these, please feel free. This is more of a test run than anything. But the website is viralstyle.com and then /SoarFP. I think we'll bring up all the ones that we have, but if you do /please fix with the please spell just PLS, that'll bring you to the blue hoodies that we're doing right now. I did make a LFGM shirt while my kid was at gymnastics yesterday. So that's, I feel like a quality use of time. But yeah, if you're interested, please feel free to check those out. And again, we'll work something out for this with the annual memberships as well, so that you can get one. And hopefully we'll have the first run in hand, so we can see sizing and quality and all of that. So rock on. Thanks for joining. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, good luck to everybody. Have a good rest of your game week, and we'll be back, I think, Monday and Friday, talking NBA, hopefully with Nate, and checking in about, for sure, the World Series. Either these series end quickly, and we might have games on Tuesday, or otherwise we're looking at next Friday. So